Hello and welcome to episode 15 of Radio Rebellion, a Star Wars podcast, and our first live action show, I guess. This is brand new for me. Used to doing just the audio portion of the podcast, but we said, hey, what the hell, we're locked up in our house, let's try something new. So, still figuring everything out using Zoom, which I know is for a different purpose, but we're gonna try it. At least I can plug in my iPhone, have some pictures up, so you just don't have to look at my pretty face all day. So we'll see how this goes. And if you haven't figured it out yet, I am your host, Alberto Calderon, and it's not the same. Like Ahsoka, if she shows up in The Mandalorian, the voice doing the podcast, and your host today is the same person. So we'll see. So for you guys that don't know, we do have our own YouTube channel with about 10 or 12 episodes so far. You can go and check them out. But this is the first full-on podcast show that's been live recorded. And if you're watching this on YouTube, we also have our podcast channel that you can listen through on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and all your favorite podcast listening stations. So yeah, we're trying something new. Not sure if all the next shows are gonna be like this, but we'll see. If I like it, if especially if you guys like it, let me know. We can continue doing it this way. I want to see how it goes because I want to at some point see if I can get together with some different Star Wars podcasters and also some listeners and viewers like you guys to see if we can get together and do a show that way. So yeah, like I mentioned, still learning. So I expect a few issues maybe to pop up, but we'll deal with them as they come. Like I mentioned at the beginning, we're still dealing with this pandemic, I guess. It doesn't matter which area of the country you live, which state, different country, if you're all the way in Europe, Asia, South America, Caribbean, for those Puerto Ricans listening today. Anyone, we're all going through this together. So, like always, keep attention and follow what the guidelines that we get every day. It seems like every day we're learning something new. But yeah, we're all in this together. So stay safe as always. So I think that's it. So if you guys are ready, I'm ready to give this a shot and let's talk some Star Wars. Maybe? No? We have our first glitch. Don't worry. We'll get on it. And for some reason it doesn't want to share. Let's try this again. All right, that's not it. Here we go. Let's talk Star Wars. Star Wars news. So the news this week come from the Mid-Rim Report. These are, as always, new news report that haven't been confirmed by Lucasfilm, but we do believe them to be true. So let's start with, and I have my notes here, so I'm gonna be starting off to the side for a little bit. New writer for the Obi-Wan series. So reading from Star Wars News Net, according to Variety, Lucasfilm has tapped writer Joby Harrold to take over finishing the scripts for the Untitled Kenobi series. Harrold takes over original writer Hossein Amini, who left the project in January. If you guys remember a few months ago, I think it was late January, early February, there were a lot of rumors going around, a lot of reports that the Kenobi series was in danger, it's going to be canceled, what's going on? That Ewan McGregor had to come out to say, no, 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 it's still going on. We're going to shoot it in January of 2021. We're just going to be polishing up the scripts. And I guess this kind of follows that report that they finally hired a writer to do those touches on the script. So we'll see. Star Wars Newsnet also mentions that Joby Harrell has never written for a TV show, and his only writing credits are for the movies Awake, starring Anakin Skywalker himself, Hayden Christensen, and the most recent King Arthur movie, Legend of the Sword. Harold is also set to write Army of the Dead for Zack Snyder and a new Transformer reboot. So what do you guys think about this news? If I'm being completely honest, I didn't mind Awake. I thought it was an okay movie when I saw it. I know 2002 to 2003, I think maybe a little bit after might have come on after Revenge of the Sith, somewhere 2005, 2006. But I didn't mind it. I think it was an okay movie. And King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, same thing. You know what you were getting on board with that movie. It's not the best King Arthur movie. It's pretty wild. You gotta go with that mindset that you're gonna see some things that are not from the Legend of King Arthur. But again, I enjoyed it pretty much. As soon as you start watching it, you know you're gonna be going on a weird kind of ride. So again, I enjoy them. So who am I to say that he's not that he shouldn't be hired for this project? And also, we never know. Maybe he's a lifelong Star Wars fan. Maybe he has this great idea for Obi-Wan. And after reading the script, he has that magic that was needed to finish them up. So I'm gonna be positive for this, and there we go. It stopped sharing. So second glitch. Don't worry, you guys are still with me, right? Yeah, we're all together. Here we go. We're back. So yeah, um, Jody Harrell, I think it is Jody Harrell. So yeah, I'm gonna give him a thumbs up. Hopefully, he's a good addition to Star Wars and to the Obi-Wan project. So our second news comes from making Star Wars, more the Mandalorian casting rumor. It seems like every week we have a new casting rumor for Mandalorian Season 2. So the newest rumor related to casting for the Mandalorian Season 2 comes again from Making Star Wars and Jason Ward. He's always, I don't know, he has something. Keeping it consistent with last week's rumor that Michael Biehn was joining the Mandalorian, the next 80s action star to join the cast is none other than screen legend herself, Jamie Lee Curtis. There's no mention of what character she might play, if this is a one-off, if she's going to be a series regular. There's no news, as it seems to be with all the Mandalorian casting reports. We do have those kind of, not rumors, but reports of more people joining the Mandalorian. So what are your thoughts on this? Is it too many guest stars, a lot of recognizable faces, and then it's going to take away a little bit when they show up? I know that was some of the critics against season one of The Mandalorian, was when a lot of those faces that you would recognize would pop up, it would kind of take you out of it. And hopefully this doesn't become the new normal. I know for the sequel trilogy, all the people that wanted to come in, usually they were in costume, so we didn't know who they were till after the movie comes out. But if we start seeing all these kind of recognizable faces in The Mandalorian just kind of pop up for a scene or two, I think it's going to start taking away from it. So we'll see. If Jamie Lee Curtis does show up, hopefully it's a good role for her. She's a great actress, so hopefully it's not just a one-off. I mean, just a quick shot and, hey, I'm here, I'm in Star Wars, and then kind of walk away. So hopefully it's a little bit bigger than that. So yeah, that's basically the news. There's not a lot of news report. There's one big news that we'll leave for our main topic, which is Star Wars reveals some new Jedi for the High Republic. So we'll do those at the end. But now we go to our Clone Wars review. So Clone Wars Season 7, Episode 7, Dangerous Depth. So after being imprisoned by the Pikes, after being imprisoned by the Pikes, and there we go, just leave it there. Ahsoka, Rafa, and Trace Martez find themselves in the planet Obadiah, being tortured to reveal where the spice is. So if you remembered in the last episode, Ahsoka and the Trace sisters took some spice that was supposed to be for the Pikes, and they dumped it halfway there because they didn't get along. They didn't know what they were gonna do with it. But now the Pikes didn't like what happened, and they want their spice back. So, gonna be honest, I know I've been a little bit critical about the last two episodes of the season, the first two episodes of this Ahsoka arc, but I'm turning it around. I'm turning it around on the arc. I'm turning around on the Martez sisters. And this is what TV does, right? It's not a movie that you watch it once and you don't have time to start to meet the characters, learn more about the characters. And that's what this does. So I'm invested now in both of them. So I'm fully back on this season of the Clone Wars. I did enjoy this episode very much. It's one of my favorites so far of the season. Definitely of this arc. I mean, it's probably top one or two of the season so far. And I think it happened, it's Star Wars. So, and Clone Wars, I think we're used to now as we get older with the sequel trilogy, The Mandalorian, we're always wanting more action, kind of move the canon, what's the next step to move the story forward. But I think we have to kind of take a step back, think what we liked about the Clone Wars when they came out first, and what they mean for a lot of people. It's not every episode doesn't have to be this big canon reveal or kind of building the universe. Each episode builds on each other, and we know that with Dave Filoni, this is usually what happens. So you meet the Martez sister in the first episode. Some of us, at least myself, didn't connect too much to them, but with the last two, you start learning more about them. And then you start building on those characters and the relationships with Ahsoka and with each other and what they're going through. So yeah, it took a little bit, but I'm glad that I kind of stuck with it for this arc, and now I'm ready to keep going. So let's see what else. So we learn a little bit about the Marquez sisters' hate for the Jedi. Sorry, again, lost it. Here we go. And this is the only thing that I've kind of have a little bit of trouble with the episode, and after that I kind of say, nah, let's forget about it. I wrote it here because I get my words mixed up sometimes. In the first episode, it was a bit of a coincidence that Ahsoka crashed her bike on this platform that had a mechanic who needed help, and then her sister had a scheme. So it felt like too convenient. And the reveal on this episode of why the Martez sisters don't like Jedi was also a little bit convenient in terms that, oh, how convenient then a Jedi is the one, an ex-Jedi is the one helping them. But again, it's Star Wars. There's a lot of convenient things in The Rise of Skywalker that I kind of go with. So I should do the same with the Clone Wars, so I'm good with them here. And also sometimes we might say, oh, the Martez sisters might be a little bit childish or whatever. Again, I've enjoyed Star Wars Resistance, which is one of the more kid-friendly shows that Star Wars has put up. So if I can deal with that there, I should be able to deal with the Clone Wars. Put that in the back of my mind and go, and I just enjoyed the episode for what it was, and there was a lot of cool things about this. And even as I'm saying that, Star Wars and the Clone Wars always have some deeper meanings and deeper themes. This arc in itself, just talking about slavery with the spice trade and the Pikes, also the Martez sisters losing their parents and now kind of being orphans basically and having to do things themselves and just rely on themselves. Those are big things that you usually don't get on kids show. So it's not fair to just say, give me action, give me Jedi. There's a lot of it. If you want to dig deep, you can find those things in there. So let me see what else from this episode. Oh, of course. So not the big reveal. The big reveal was at the end, but you learn now why the Martez sisters are wary of Jedi. They explained that when they were younger, there was this gangster named Zero, which we know is referring to Zero the Hutt, being escorted by a red-eyed alien. Who else but Cat Bane, right? So we have a little connection there. And the Jedi were chasing them, and as they tried to stop them, the speeder or the ship that Zero was escaping crashed into a wall. They ran away, and the Jedi were distracted by the crash. And the crash happened next to the wall where the Martez sisters and their parents were, which unfortunately they didn't survive. And then Rafa says that the Jedi came over, a beautiful green skinned alien with dark robes, that if we look at the Jedi of the time, this is either Luminara Unduli or Barris Offee, which if it's Barris, we know her connection to Ahsoka. Most likely it was Luminara Unduli. So if you start thinking about, and if you want your canon connection, there you go. You just gotta think about it a little bit and you can make those connections yourself. And she mentions that the Jedi went over and said, I had to make a choice, but don't worry, the Force will be with you. Which sounds a lot like the Star Wars versions of Thoughts and Prayers. Really don't do that much in situations like this, so I understand how and why Rafa and Trace don't trust the Jedi. I did like the torture droid that they have. It's kind of all bended. So, he's seen some stuff and probably has done some stuff also. Sorry, because I'm losing my connection. Okay, here we go. What else? The planet Obadiah, I did like the look of the planet. It's kind of run down a little bit, but the lighting effects, all the towers, it's a pretty cool planet. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but Rafa Marquez is starting to grow on me. I wasn't too on board with her in the first 2 episodes, but she's learning herself. Her relationship and her back and forth with Ahsoka is getting better. I did like a couple of times that says, yeah, we'll help you. Oh, no, we'll leave her behind. We're not coming back for her. I think that was delivered pretty well. Also, when her and Ahsoka are having a discussion, and Rafa kind of asks her, hey, how did you do that? How did you jump over that gap? Oh, I'm more athletic than I know. I mean, I'm more athletic than I look. And Rafa's like, that doesn't make sense. The way Ahsoka cuts her that, there's no time for this. It was very Star Wars-like, very Star Wars-y, and for some reason reminded me of something Han Solo might say. So yeah, I'm on board with the Marquez sisters, Trace and Rafa. But at the end of the episode, they end up the same place where they started, locked up. So let's see what happens in the final episode of the arc. But we can't talk about episode 7 without talking about the Mandalorians and who but Bo-Katan herself, voiced by Katie Sackhoff, make her return. And again, it might be because of the Mandalorian that we just watched, but this is where the episode 2 got turned from a good episode to great. And the person on her right, which here on the screen is my left, was, when you look at the credits, it was Orsa Wren, which we know as Sabine Wren's mom. But if you heard her voice and you listened to her voice, I guess you might have gotten the same reaction that I did, that her voice was very similar to the Armorer. So yes, let's talk about this a little bit. So we have the reports that Ahsoka will show up in season 2 of The Mandalorian. And then we have Ahsoka and Sabine are pretty well connected. At least last time we saw them in Rebels, they were together going to find, hopefully, Ezra in the unknown regions. So if we start putting things together in our own headcanon, if we want to start speculating responsibly, as they say in Force Center, or like I say, hypothesizing in hyperspace. If Ahsoka shows up, there's a good probability that Sabine might show up, or at least a mention of her. And then we know that the Darksaber is in play. The last person before Moff Gideon that we know had the Darksaber was Bo-Katan, alongside Orsa Wren. So there's another connection to make right there. And who better to help Ahsoka either find Sabine or get the Darksaber than the Armorer, played by Sabine Wren's mom, Orsa Wren. There's a lot of strings, a lot of threads. I was in my hotel, in a motel room. You can see all the red threads connected. Oh, Vader, no! All right. Sorry, Vader. Maybe, okay, I won't make those connections. I guess Vader didn't like them. Quick programming note, I guess. This is my bedroom. My home office is currently taken over by my daughter, who made it her bedroom, and then her bedroom became the guest bedroom. And my in-laws are staying here, so they're using it. So I'm having to record from my bedroom. I'm putting Vader and it's not Cody, but I like to call him Cody, kind of behind me. So yeah, I lost my train of thought a little bit, but basically it was a pretty good episode of Clone Wars Season 7. Again, my first or second favorite of the season so far. Can't wait for the next one on Friday. I don't have the title for that one here. Let me look at my notes real quick. Microphone stop moving. Yeah, I'm sorry if you hear paper rustling. Those are my notes. I do like to take a lot of notes, so that's why I keep looking to the side. So no, I don't have the name of next week's episode, but that's fine. But yeah, pretty cool, good episode. good continuation of the current arc, and it elevated a little bit more. And again, if you're having issues with this season or with this arc, remember what the Clone Wars was all about. All those great episodes there. Again, none of this is gonna be filler. Everything starts meshing up together, so just keep at it. Then the reveal at the end with Bo-Katan, Orsa Ren, and hopefully her being the armorer, and then having a connection to season 2. And then if that's the case, I lost my connection again with the, what happened? I gotta do something here, sorry. Gotta stop the share. And we're gonna share the screen again, don't worry. So like I mentioned before, the stranger at the end of season 1, episode 5 of The Mandalorian. I hope it's Cat Bane, most likely not, but we can hope, right? Well, not yet. So if we have all these connections in this episode, there's a mention of red-eyed alien, hopefully Cat Bane, so we'll see. One thing that I noticed in this episode, I'm starting to think, maybe stormtroopers are not as bad a shot as everyone else says, and I think blasters are just bad at aiming, because the Pikes had a lot of open shots against Ahsoka and the Marquez, and they didn't hit a single one. I think blasters are not as good, and stormtroopers are getting a bad rap. So yeah, so that was Clone Wars episode 7. And now let's move to our main topic. Star Wars: The High Republic. So yes, StarWars.com, in a special reveal, pulled back the curtain on some of the Jedi we'll get to meet during the High Republic. This was the first in an exclusive series, so we'll be on the lookout for more reveals, and hopefully we'll get to learn a little bit more about the Nile and some of the other characters that inhabit this new era of Star Wars. About a month or so ago, we were the reveal of the High Republic, going too fast, which we previously knew as Project Luminous. It got revealed as the High Republic, the new era of Star Wars storytelling, 200 years before the Phantom Menace. And we learned a little bit about the books that were coming out, the first run of books, and a little bit about the characters. But a few days ago, StarWars.com revealed some new characters and some new Jedi. So yeah, we got a bit of information about a few characters, but now we're gonna fully introduce to 5 of the main Jedi. Let me read that again. I'm sorry, guys. It's my first time. Fine. So now we're fully introduced to 5 of the main Jedi we will be following. First one is Avar Kriss. Avar, and what I'm reading now is straight from Star Wars. Avar has been this is my edition. So Avar has been front and center in the marketing of the High Republic since it was announced a few months ago. She's in the cover of Light of the Jedi by Charles Soule, which is the first novel coming out. And she seems to be, at least to me, to be, if not the main character, one of the main characters. Unless it's the main character of Light of the Jedi by Charles Soule. So here we learn that she's the brightest, most noble example of Jedihood. She's the brightest, most noble, I keep messing up. Starting again. Here we learn that she is the brightest, most noble example of Jedihood. She always tries to see the good in people and situations and never puts herself first. She is compassionate, not dogmatic, and always ready to sacrifice herself over others. Avar Kriss is the best of the best. Obi-Wan, right? She's Obi-Wan, at least to me. To me, Obi-Wan kind of exemplified what a Jedi was, and I think Avar Kriss is going to be that character for this new era. So yeah, like I mentioned, she's going to be in the Charles Soule novel, Light of the Jedi. There you can see her, front and center. I will be talking about some of the other characters that you see here. I think all of them are going to be obviously a great hopefully like a lot of so doesn't like out on We'll see what we reform. I think I know how to use it. That's what the other this is I didn't know more about her. I don't know if that actually meant. So I don't know what she's trying to do, but I'm usually also let I also see she has her probably that shake head more or less she's able to on more so you have more so guys for the diamonds of the do what they are so that was the and the thing is that things are showing that we can't be I think that's and on the other hand definitely we have a little and it's not just like and in Congress you can enjoy the end and yes, you know, voice makes you feel that you're on your own language and moving just like learning to make it really interesting to people. Burn is an independent. I will tell you. Also, respect to the board. Also, a 16 is roughly all the action before the year. Midlands State Force. Also, tell you for the most. So, let's see for stars and review again from time for is the first. So, we're gonna keep our eyes out. Some interested side of things so for everybody. One of the all the thing. So, second reason for the I'm sorry, that's joy. So, let's down the body. This is and see if we was going to end try to get with him. But I also know it's something. B8, I think it's very wrong and I know and boom. And the whole day and this movie you kind of like Lennox and not so we have to snap to the sky. The moon has to work on that and you feel so that's a fun part of the show and are always helping out. And I lost my share. Hopefully you guys still see me because I stopped seeing myself. Oh, all right, we're back. I think we're back. So yeah, that is an end to the show. So thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know if you like this way of making the show. Hopefully next time it doesn't get all jumbled and kind of slow behind with a delay. So we'll see, but again, it's the first time we're doing this. We're still learning. Give us a follow on Twitter at Radio. Watch this on YouTube. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, all those things you're supposed to do. And if you're listening to the podcast, also kind of give us a quick rating, a quick review over there. So yeah, till next time, stay safe, be safe, and may the force be with you.